How weird does a build have to be to take down a world champion? How does the Gamers Without Borders bracket actually work? Why don't I have any friends? All these questions, we'll answer those in the next 10 minutes because the Nydus News Network starts right now. Last week, the biggest story was the announcement of a $500,000 Starcraft 2 tournament. This week, we've got a bunch more details. The bulk of the prize pool, some $400,000, will go to the Starcraft 2 main event. $50,000 will go to some sort of Starcraft 2 Legends event, and the last $50,000 will go to a Brood War Legends event. We're still waiting for details on who's going to be invited, how that's going to work out. For the main event, we now know the invites and the tournament format. The top 12 each of Koreans and EPT players by Katowice ranking specifically were invited to the Gamers Without Borders tournament, which appears to be a quadruple elimination tournament for the top 8 players out of Katowice for each region and double elimination for the bottom 4. Now, if we look at the bracket here, that European bracket looks really uneven to me. Man, poor Cyril. The biggest tournament of the week was WardiTV's $10,000 Korean Royale, now confirmed for a fully funded Season 2, and at least a partially funded Season 3. Going into the final day of groups, DRG was looking a likely lock for the playoffs. Gumiho and Crater would have to win, and DRG would have to lose to Scarlet in order to not qualify. And that's exactly what happened. Scarlet took the head-to-head, and Gumiho overcame Ryung's excellent TVT to advance. And so, Crater and Gumiho advanced out of Group A. Group B, though, was much more of a seeding question. Stats, Solar, and Special were solidly out of competition by the end of Day 2, and at the same time, Hero was confirmed top billing. So it really was just a question of who would be second, third, fourth, etc. And now, unlike most tournaments, Wardy decided to implement a gauntlet-style bracket for his playoffs, where the top players from each group would be seeded into the semifinals, the second best into the quarterfinals, and so on. The top side of the bracket was complete as of the time of recording. Special shout-out, by the way, to Hero's reverse sweep against Dark in the semis. The scene really seems to have bitten by the reverse sweep bug this week. I'm not sure what's up with that, but you'll see what's happening. Now, of course, we don't know what happened on the bottom side. That happens on Sunday. And again, I don't know what it is about the Korean ESL Cups, but their finals are invariably absolute bangers, and this week was no different. While every single series leading up to the finals was a 2-0, Dark and Beyond raged an absolute war in the finals. Beyond opened map 1 with a 3-Rax Reaper play that got far too much damage, killing 42 Lings and delaying Dark's third base by quite a while, and getting like half damage on it. Map 2 followed a similar pattern, but Beyond stopped Reaper production at 3 Reapers off 3 Barracks before transitioning into 3-Rax stim timings. And that absolutely caught Dark off guard. Dark, though, managed to reverse sweep from there. Even a crazy game 4, where he accidentally researched Tunneling Claws without Burrow, and before getting Roach Speed, and getting +1 melee instead of ranged. So he effectively won that game with just 0-1 slow roaches, which is absolutely insane. Game 5, though, clearly Beyond was shook, and it went wrong from the start, as Dark's early slowling denied mining for quite a while, and the Roach Ravager pressure ended the game and the series in Dark's favor. 3-2 Dark, and our second reverse sweep of this week. The European contest, though, was a far more hotly contested affair, as neither finalist made it through the bracket without being significantly bloodied. The final was again the series of the tournament, though. Here, Marine won the first 2 games on a patented big gate push and a really cool Marine pickup to dodge a stasis trap. Game 1 was a 2-starport 3-base push with a ton of Vikings, and Game 2 was a faster 7-minute stim 2-base timing, classic Big Gabe, both against Showtime's Stargate opener that didn't provide him with quite enough oomph to hold. Rather than changing his mind, however, Showtime doubled down on Stargate play in Game 3, but this time it was double Oracle Harass into Chargelot Disruptor Phoenix in the face of Hero Marine's big push. That's a weird composition, but it seemed to work. At least it allowed Showtime to hold on until mass late-game DT play decided in Showtime's favor. Game 5, though, was likely the game of the series, as Gressfon stretched both players multitasking before Hero Marine broke through with a massive drop into Showtime's main to take another EPT EU 3-2. If Europe and Korea's greatest stories were the finals, we have to look back all the way to the round of 16 for the biggest news out of EPT North America. Dark faced off against the Brazilian Zerg Eric in what was expected to be a tune-up before his match against MaxPax in the round of 8. Instead, Eric's Game 2 Roach pressure into Mass Muta caught Dark off guard. When Dark's Roach Corruptor counter, because he had to deal with this, failed to bear fruit, He was forced to tap out and gave Eric a window into that series. Game 3 was an early pull from Eric that did heavy damage to Dark's early game economy. A Roach Ravager muted follow-up later, and Cranky Duckling's Eric scored the biggest upset of what has to be the last several weeks. Unfortunately for him, he would fall to Max Pax in that next round, who would then fall to Gumiho, who would then get reverse swept by Solar in the finals. What is it with Korean ZVTs and the Zerg's reverse sweeping finals? But anyway, that's our third reverse sweep of the week, and it's only, well, I guess the Wardy, it was only Monday by then. Also, I'm still experimenting with the format of these videos. Do you like the more in-depth summaries of some of the series, or would you prefer broader stroke summaries that I've used otherwise in this video or in week 1? Let me know in the comments. The Korean Starcraft League also happened this week in their 5th running, and I guess we should just call it the Onside Starcraft League at this point. For the 5th time in 5 weeks, an Onside player has won the event. This time, it was Solar claiming his 2nd crown with a 3-2 victory over Classic in the finals. A Classic that overcame Hero's terrifying PvP to get there. Classic showed a ton of fun builds over the course of the series. A 7-gate Stalker Immortal all-in, Glenep Disruptor drops, as well as a standard macro play. But it was Solar's mutas that dictated the story of this series, especially Game 5. Solar played the most obnoxious version of Zerg possible by massing mutas and upgraded lings to force Classic into a base trade. Solar won with a great surround, including the rest of his drones, and in doing so, he tilted Protoss everywhere in the process. Finally, qualifiers for ESL Masters Summer took place this weekend. As of recording, none of the open qualifiers have completed, so I'll have full coverage of the event and who qualified, who's playing in what region next week. For now, it looks like the usual suspects will at least make close qualifiers today and tomorrow. One last thing, though. Zombiegrub has started what we are going to be calling the Real Talk Strategy Podcast, or talk show, or whatever you want to call it, which is Zombiegrub, Steadfast, Fear Dragon, and myself going over the beats of the scene the last 2 weeks. You should check it out if you enjoy very long-form content. I think the last one was about 4 hours long. I think next 2 weeks, we'll be doing Stormgate stuff. But that's it for this week, though. So what do you think? Who qualifies out of the qualifiers happening today? Why were there so many reverse sweeps this week? I mean, I'm not complaining, but still, it's kind of weird. And why don't I have any friends? We didn't address that one, did we? Well, maybe next week. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye.